All right, let's dive into something that I'm sure a lot of us have thought about at some point. Stock trading. Specifically, how do we even get started if we're coming in with like zero experience?
Yeah, it can seem pretty daunting, right? Like, where do you even begin?
Exactly. So I actually found this YouTube video the other day, and it seems to lay things out pretty clearly. It's called How to Start Trading Stocks as a Complete Beginner. And it's by this guy, Trading Lab. He's been trading for like 8 years.
Oh, okay. I think I've seen that channel before.
Hmm.
Is this the video where he's promising to, like, walk you through everything for free without trying to sell you a course or anything?
Yep, that's the one. He really emphasizes that it's a complete free guide, A to Z. And what really hooked me was right at the beginning. You know how everyone always asks, how much money do I need to start trading?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I feel like everyone wants to know that. What does he say?
Well, you'd think he'd say something like, you need at least $1,000 or something,
Yeah,
right?
at least a few hundred, right?
Well, he says, nah, zero.
$0.
Really?
Zero. It kind of blew my mind too, but then he explained his reasoning, and it actually makes a lot of sense. He's basically saying, like, why would you jump into the market with real money when you don't even know the basics?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense when you put it that way. I mean, it's
Yeah.
like you wouldn't like try to build a house without like knowing anything about construction, right?
Right. It's like he calls out that whole, you know, I saw someone on TikTok make $1 million so I can do it too mentality. He's like, no, you need to learn the fundamentals first. And to do that, he suggests starting with something called a trading simulator or paper trading.
Oh yeah, paper trading. That's a great way to, kind of get a feel for the market without actually risking any money. It's like a practice run. Have you ever tried it?
I haven't actually, but it sounds like a really smart way to start. He specifically recommends this platform called Webull. Have you heard of it? Yeah, I've heard of Webull. It's free to use, and I think they even like give you a free stock or something when you sign up. It's supposed to be pretty user-friendly too, which is good for beginners.
Okay, cool. So it sounds like a good place to start. But here's what I found really interesting. He says that even though you're not using real money with paper trading, you still have to treat it with like the same seriousness as if you were. So like sticking to a budget, managing risk, all that.
Oh, absolutely. That's so important. A lot of people, when they start trading, they let their emotions get in the way. Like they get scared or greedy and they make impulsive decisions. Paper trading helps you kind of practice that discipline of like sticking to a plan and making, more rational decisions. It's like training your brain to stay calm under pressure, even if it's not real money yet.
Yeah, that makes sense. And to kind of enforce that discipline, he recommends keeping a journal of every trade you make, even the ones you lose. He says it helps you, like, analyze what worked, what didn't, and why you made the decisions you did. It's kind of like a trading diary, I guess.
It's a great idea. It's kind of like, if you're practicing an instrument, you got to listen back to yourself to see what you need to work on. Same thing with trading. You got to, review your trades and see where you can improve.
Yeah, that's a great point. So it seems like his main message so far is all about learning and developing your skills before even thinking about, making a profit. It's refreshing to hear someone talk about trading this way, like not just focusing on the money.
Yeah, for sure. It's all about, building that foundation, like we were talking about. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. It takes time and effort.
Yeah. He even says, like, just by doing these things, starting with $0, using the simulator, and focusing on learning, you'll already be way ahead of, like, most other new traders.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, think about it. So many beginners, they just jump right in without a plan.
Hmm.
They're chasing those, like, quick wins, and then they end up using everything.
He even says something like, you'll be ahead of, like, hundreds of thousands of other traders. I don't know if I buy that exact number, but
Yeah, it's hard to, quantify it like that. But the idea is there, right?
yeah.
He's saying that by taking this approach, you're avoiding those common mistakes that trip people up, like letting your emotions dictate your trades or not having a clear strategy.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So basically, it's all about building that solid base, like you said, and then the profits will hopefully come later on.
Right, exactly. It's a long game.
Yeah.
And towards the end of the video, he teases something kind of interesting. Did you catch that part?
Oh, yeah, yeah. He talks about potentially doing a whole video series, like a complete guide to becoming a successful trader.
Yeah, that's what I thought. If he actually does it, that could be pretty huge, especially for people who can't afford those like expensive trading courses.
Yeah.
It would be interesting to see how it compares to those paid courses, like,
Mm.
do you really need to spend thousands of dollars to learn this stuff or?
Right, right. Like, is there actually some secret sauce they're giving you, or is it just the same information presented differently?
Yeah, exactly. Maybe we should do a deep dive into that sometime, comparing the free stuff with the paid stuff.
That's a great idea. We could like analyze the content of his series if he makes it and see how it stacks up against what they teach in those expensive courses. But first, he has to actually make the series.
Right. He says he'll do it if he gets 1,000 likes on the video. So, if you're listening and you want to see that happen, go give him a thumbs up.
Yeah, definitely. I'm curious to see if he follows through. But anyway, let's kind of recap what we've learned so far. What stands out to you the most?
I think the biggest thing for me is just like the whole approach, starting with $0 and really emphasizing the learning process. That's pretty unique. It kind of takes the pressure off.
Yeah, it definitely does. It's like he's saying, hey, you don't need to be rich to get started. You just need to be willing to learn. And the simulator, that seems like a really valuable tool too, like a safe space to practice.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It's like you can make all the mistakes you want without losing any real money. And then once you feel confident, you can start, dipping your toes into the real market.
So it's like he's taking the fear out of trading, kind of making it more approachable for beginners.
Exactly. And that's a good thing, I think. Trading shouldn't be this like exclusive club. Anyone should be able to learn and participate if they want to.
Yeah, it really is a different way to think about it. Most people think you got to have like tons of money to even get started.
Right. It's like this whole myth that you need to be like some Wall Street hotshot to make money in the market.
But this guy's saying, no, you can start with nothing. Just focus on learning first. It's kind of empowering, actually.
Totally. It
Yeah.
makes trading seem way more accessible.
Mhm.
And it goes back to that idea of mindset. You're not jumping in head first, hoping to strike it rich. You're taking the time to learn and build your skills.
So it's more about like personal growth and development almost.
Yeah, in a way. It's about becoming a better trader, not just
Yeah.
chasing profits. And, it makes me wonder about that potential video series you mentioned.
Oh, yeah, the A to Z guide. That would be awesome if he actually does it.
Right. Like, imagine having all that information for free.
Hmm.
Risk management, trading psychology, chart setups. It'd be interesting to see how it compares to those expensive courses.
Yeah, like, is there really that much of a difference? Or are those paid courses just like repackaging the same information and charging a premium for it?
That's a good question. Maybe we should do a deep dive into that sometime. Compare the free resources with the paid ones and see what the real differences are.
Yeah, that's a great idea for a future episode. But for now, we'll just have to wait and see if he actually follows through with that series. But even if he doesn't, I think we've learned some valuable stuff from this deep dive.
For sure. I mean, the biggest takeaway for me is that you don't need to be intimidated by trading. You don't need a ton of money or some fancy degree.
Just a willingness to learn and a little bit of patience.
Yeah, exactly. And the right tools, like that Webull simulator, that's a game changer for beginners.
Yeah, for sure. So if you're out there and you've been thinking about trying out trading, don't be scared to start small. Take advantage of those free resources like the simulator and focus on building your knowledge. Who knows, maybe you'll discover a hidden talent you never knew you had.
And you know what? Even if you don't become the next Warren Buffett, you'll at least gain some valuable skills and knowledge that can help you in other areas of your life.
That's a great point. It's all about learning and growing, right?
Absolutely. So go out there and start exploring. The world of trading is waiting for you.
And hey, maybe we'll even do a follow-up deep dive sometime down the road, comparing those free resources with the paid ones. Who knows what we'll uncover. But for now, that's a wrap on this episode. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure exploring this with you. Until next time.